Hello, friends. Welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be designing a horizontal layout in my agenda planner for the next week in October. So come plan with me. And I've got this mile liner here ready to go, along with some various washi tapes I may use, some ephemera paper, and these label stickers from Journal Say, these leaf stickers from Dollar Tree, and this planning thing sticker book, which I'll pull from. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lay down a fresh sheet of wax paper to get started on this week's design. I really just threw some things together that I thought might go well as part of the same theme. So we are going to see where this takes us. I am using another set of the Dollar Tree stickers that I got recently. I had gotten another set of Dollar Tree stickers actually at the thrift store before, and they are a little bit different. They are textured, they are rubbery. They're still stickers, but just a really different style of sticker that I've never seen anywhere else. I used some of the leaf ones that I got previously on, I think, my Memory a Day monthly, and thought that came out pretty good. The stickers worked well, so I thought I would go ahead and try these here on my weekly horizontal and see how they did. So I have some papers here that I'm not real sure how I want them to lay out on the page. A little bit worried about covering up dates, so I tried a couple of different things, maybe in the four corners, and am now going to try something else, see if I can position it differently so that I'm not really covering up anything crucial as far as the layout of the planner. And I'm ripping up the pages, just seeing what looks good. Kind of like the inner corners, those are working well with the paper. And now I just feel like I need a little bit more, so I'm going to try to use some of the scraps to add a bit more on the sides to balance things out. We'll start laying in some of the stickers with these guys and just see where it takes us. I definitely want to use some of the pumpkins on this spread from the Planning Thing sticker book and then match those up with the leaves. I thought that the colors of the leaves being predominantly green and kind of like a warm orange brown would work well with the pumpkins that I had there and be enough to really give us some decor items for the spread. So we're gonna see, like I said, where this takes us and how things develop. But it definitely took me a little while to figure out a good design that, again, is always got to be functional for me and still was what I felt like was complete. Sometimes I don't do enough on spreads, and I don't like that feeling of like I could have done more. So sometimes I work and rework things until I feel like there's enough on there for me to feel like, yes, this is a fully fledged design spread. So that said, we are going to try to lay in these leaves, again, thinking about functionality and also creating like cute clusters that I would like to look at. So we'll see how things turn out with that. I also have these little label boxes that I got in a Journal Say sticker haul, and I really like them. The styling of them is a little bit vintage, but not like full on, old vintage look. It definitely has more of a eclectic kind of modern vintage look. I don't know how to explain any better than that, but it doesn't look like they're super old, but it gives you that callback to the vintage feels. So I'm pulling those in just for a little bit more warmth, texture, and detail. The decor is fairly large for the most part, with the pumpkins and the leaves being fairly large. So it's nice to add a little bit more of a smaller scale item to give some detail, some fine texture. I'm also figuring out where things should go and how they should relate to each other. I think that the pumpkins look good in the 3 clusters I have at the bottom and on the 2 edges. The one at the top, I'm not real sure how to work in a pumpkin so it doesn't look like it's just floating in air. I thought that one with the longer stem might look good, like it's hanging from a vine, even though I know pumpkins grow on the ground, but you know what I mean? Just so that it didn't look so out of place, but still was able to incorporate a pumpkin up there. So we'll see where that goes. I'm bringing in a lot of smaller leaves too, trying to use up the stickers that I have on that sheet on this one design. We'll see how I can incorporate all of those elements at some point. And I definitely want to add in a quote, at least one here. So I'm going to pull from that same Planty Things sticker book, this Autumn Leaves and Pumpkin Please quote that I think is a perfect quote for this spread. I'm not sure if the look of it is quite right for the rest of the spread, but by trimming out some of the finer details, I can get down to just the words, and I think that that is enough to make it feel like it fits in with the design and the theme. So I also pulled in another small kind of circular quote that says, "I love fall most of all." Not 100% sure about that one at this point. I still need to bring in some focus boxes and the washi tape too, so we'll see if that stays, but I pulled it in just in case I needed something for that area. Really trying to figure out what I want to do up here at the top with these leaves. And that floating pumpkin I mentioned I'm worried about. We'll see if we can get something going here. I usually like to balance things out, so I have 4 main clusters going right now on the spread. I have a pumpkin and some leaves and the paper backer and the label box on each. So we're trying to figure out how to get that going up here at the top and still keep things balanced out. Trying a few different ways to combine these leaves and the pumpkins, changing out the bigger ones and the smaller ones till I find something that I like. I'm also trying to separate out those dark green leaves so there's not too many in one area. That was the most predominant style of sticker on that Dollar Tree spread, so I just wanted to make sure that there was a little bit of that green kind of spread out and not just clustered in one area. Now we're bringing in some of the washi tape. I have this really fall vibe grid washi from Planty Thing as part of her washi tape subscription. So that was a really good one to bring in. It's got some warm brown orange tones that I think match up well with the leaves. And then I just brought in another warm, solid orange tone with the other washi to up the orange factor because I wasn't really sure how much of the green was going to take over on the spread. And I still want this to have more of a fall feel, so I thought adding more orange would be a good idea to keep it more fall-centric overall. And I'm ripping up that washi in half to give it a little bit more of an interesting edge and layering that with that grid washi. I decided to put it in on the edges, just kind of again balancing it out more in like a mirror fashion. So not exactly how it is on one side from the other, just if I have one at the top, I have one at the bottom. If I have one on one side, I have it on the other side, that kind of thing. And you can really see where I'm going with it with the symmetry idea, just to balance things out. So I have that layered washi in each of the 4 main clusters. And now I am looking for some colorful boxes to bring in for focuses. If I can get them in for at least half of the days, I think that would be good, but not real sure exactly how to incorporate them. I don't want them just to be floating if I can avoid that. I really want them to be incorporated into the clusters wherever possible, so we will see how that goes. Decided on using the outline circles instead of the outline boxes for the most part, mainly because of the color selection available in that book for to use the other colors in other spreads. So I am pulling in what's available that matches well with the current color scheme on this theme. So I'm bringing in some cream and some orange circles, which I think tie well with the color scheme. Thought I might bring in some green as well, just a little bit in some areas for some added color in the more empty days that don't really have a big cluster section. Repositioning a few things too for balance. Again, kind of trying to get what I have on one side on the other. So one green box, one orange circle, one beige circle on one side, and having those same elements on the opposite side. That quote isn't in its best place, but I think it works well for balance on the spread because there's really nothing going on Tuesday other than that one focus box. So we are going to leave that there. Now let's go ahead and get this moved on to the paper. So since I'm using some cardstock, I will need to glue that down. I will bring in my Tombow glue runner here in a second to glue down those sections. But let's start with this bottom cluster here that's all sticker and drop that in. Trying to avoid having to punch through some of those spine holes, so I am being strategic on where I put some of the leaves. I'm also going to white out, there's a quote at the bottom of this week's spread, so I'm just going to white out a few letters from that and just leave the word grow at the end. I think that works fine for this spread. And like I said, I've already brought out that glue runner, so I'm just gluing down the paper once I get things positioned with the stickers. That holds it in place, and then that way I know the paper is exactly where I want it when I glue it down. Sometimes I use a glue stick, but I think because I have like the washi tape and this somewhat strange sticker from Dollar Tree that's a little bit thicker, a little bit rubbery, I think it's just safer to use a more permanent style glue for the backer in case it, comes into contact with those elements that may not be as sticky as regular paper would be. I've got a few of those clusters in, got a couple more left to do. Trying to pick them all up in one piece so that I can just easily transfer them from the wax paper directly to the sheets. I am whiting out a little bit behind the sticker because there's a hole where a few of the letters are showing through but not in completion, so I think it'd just be better to have it nice and white behind there. Just using my Jelly Roll white pen for that. And I'll drop in this quote. When I pulled it up off of the wax paper, it ripped, so I'm just going to reset it and hopefully line things up properly there. And finally, we will move in this side cluster over here. Let's start with a washi separate just to get the positioning right, and then we'll drop in the rest of the stickers. Again, kind of sticking it down first and then going back and gluing down that paper sheet. There is a little corner there that did not want to stick down, which I will try to fix in a little bit with a glue pen that I have. But for now, let's go ahead and just get the holes cleaned out where needed. I'm going to pull out my We Are Memory Keepers disc power punch for that. This is going to work really well on these thicker stickers and the heavier kind of cardstock paper I'm using as a background. That punched through beautifully. Super excited about that. Again, I am going to try to get this glue pen working just to stick down the small little areas that really don't have enough surface for my Tombow glue runner. But of course my pen is all clogged up, so I will come back to that at some point. But for now, we'll move back on to the hole punching and then also the trimming of those extra stickers and washies that are hanging off the edges. Let's drop in some bullets for my daily checklists, and I'll just use that mild liner for that. Again, more focusing in on the orange to bring out those fall feels. Just going to do a little bit of cleanup. I think I finally get this glue pen to work. So I'm just going to glue down those little edges that did not want to come down. Use my sticker spatula to make sure everything is stuck down properly to the page. And once I'm done with that, you guys, we should be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.